Hello, hello. Everyone hear me? Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming to our Onyx Black History Month Rising Stars in Social Media panel discussion. It's going to be very exciting. We have some super exciting and knowledgeable panelists that have really just kind of conquered the social media world. I know that this is a very hot topic too with Macys, with the whole .com initiative, and just like more attention to social media for branding reasons. So I think that we can really get something out of today. So thanks one more time for coming. My name is Will Cope. I am a designer for Men INC over at MMG. Ow, shout out to yeah, and let me introduce you to our panelists. So first we have Kenneth, Kyrell, and Jovel Royston. They make up the dynamic duo known as the No Names. The No Names was founded in 2001 and has since been used as a platform to take a microscopic view of both rising and established brands in creative industries ranging from fashion and art to music and film. After years of studying the science of building identities for both people and products, their minds have shifted from brand observers to brand influencers. Pulling from trend-driven insights to customer behavior and equipped with a background in marketing and creative direction, the No Names has evolved from being just a blog and now functions as more of a branding agency. Kenneth and Jovel have been able to work with such names as Calvin Klein, Forever 21, GQ, and Details magazine. And the best part is, they're one of our own. Kenneth is an assistant fashion director for Centercorn Shoes, and Jovel is the editorial writer for Mblog and social media. So give it up for them. All right, next up, we have Ty Alexander. Known for her beauty and lifestyle savvy, but adored because of her gorgeous gray mane, Ty Alexander is an expert on online beauty and lifestyle editor. Ty Alexander is an expert on online beauty and lifestyle editor, social media consultant, and style and beauty and TV correspondent. Ty started her impressive editorial career as the style and beauty editor of HelloBeautiful.com, armed with an extensive knowledge and compassion for women of color, and the kind of sass that instantly made her your BFF. Ty has established herself as a trendsetter in media, boasting over 11,000 Twitter followers, over 8,000 Instagram followers, and over 5,000 on Facebook. As a trusted influencer with a distinctive voice, Ty has partnered with some of the best beauty and fashion brands in the business, offering her social media services to Udab, BET, Lane Bryant, and Eden Body Works. She has built her personal brand, Gorgeous and Gray, from a personal blog to a lifestyle site with over 100,000 page views per month, offering the best in beauty, fashion, fitness, health, celebrity, and lifestyle. Give it up for Ty Alexander. And last but not least, we have Alicia Gooding, as a partner at a PR firm and marketing firm who has started her career as a radio personality. Known for her objective and opinionated views, Alicia Gooding has been labeled as the professional slick talker. Her journey began in retail, where she went from being a client favorite in high-end stores to working for Marc Jacobs, and eventually became a manager of a Marc Echo store. After getting her real estate license, Alicia transitioned to the world of PR. In 2011, she landed a position as an executive assistant to the CEO of a small experimental marketing and PR firm with a roster of heavyweights. She worked with Amber Rose, handling all of her bookings for shows and appearances, worked hand in hand with the CEO, and then was promoted to the account executive for all client accounts, which she took the lead mostly with production. She has produced major events for clients like Nike, Pepsi, and Caesars Entertainment. In 2014, Alicia established her own marketing and PR agency called the Curators of Defining Experiences, aka CODE. This firm specializes in brand management, event marketing, and public relations. CODE has executed major lifestyle events for figures such as Nick Cannon and Shad Moss, aka Bow Wow. And her brands include Universal Republic, Monster Headphones, and Reebok. Her company has also garnered over 500 million press impressions for its clients. As Alicia moves into 2016, her roster of heavyweights includes an Italian footwear designer, Rock Nation's official jeweler, as well as an actress and executive clients. Give it up for Alicia Gooding. All right, you guys, so I just want to start with a really simple question to kind of just kick it off and let you guys kind of speak for yourselves since I read your bios. But I want to start with, what do you do? Just please give us a brief description of your day-to-day. We'll start with you, Alicia.
Okay, so what do I do? I feel like you kind of already read my title. I feel like I get this question every day. To me, I'm like a brand strategist mixed with some PR, but really in real life, I think that us PR people are like modern day superheroes. So my job is to gain exposure in any way fit for my clients. We are a conscious marketing firm, so we don't try to do like salacious media or stand next to scandals, but we do get our clients really great mainstream press, and we help them with endorsement opportunities. So I'm basically our client's best friend when it comes to leveraging them into the next position. That's my position.
Hey guys, it's funny because I have to answer this question to my dad like at least once a month. How do you make money? I was so confused how to figure it out. So if I had to put a term to it, I would say I'm a freelance writer. So by daily, I have a blog called Gorgeous and Gray, but I also write copy for different beauty and lifestyle brands, whether it's Princess Cruises or WeDad, BET. So technically, I get paid to write things on the internet.
Hello. Well, by day, or 9 to 5, 9 to 6, however you want to put it, I'm actually in this building. I'm the assistant fashion director for shoes and handbags. In addition to running a blog with my co-founder, Joe Bell, we cover events. It's a lifestyle blog which includes fashion, music, art, entertainment. We work with a few brands in terms of brand representation. I don't want to take everything from what he may say, so I'm going to pass the mic to him.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just to expand on my role a little bit at Macy's, I work with my awesome social media team on the creative team, so I work on the copy side, and outside of that, I mean, we definitely are known, I think, the best for menswear, that sort of market. So I mean, from posting style posts to going to events, working with brands like GQ, I mean, we get to have a lot of fun, like we get to see a lot of things, we get to travel. And the blogger lifestyle is like, it's pretty cool. So, yeah, I mean, like, we get to do a lot of fun things and we get to see a lot of fun places, so it's cool.
Thank you. That was great answers from everyone. I actually follow you guys on Insta, and you guys take amazing photos. Like it's just like constantly inspirational. And like, I just wanted to ask, what inspires and motivates your creativity, and kind of like what gets you going and keeps you going?
So I got the mic, I'll do my I mean, I think for me, like, I'm really inspired by two types of things. I think aesthetics are really important for me. Like, I love just like things that are beautiful, things that captivate my eye. And I'm really easily inspired by a lot of things. So whether it's Kyro's scarf with a print on his shirt, or whether it's an Instagram post that I saw from someone this morning, there are a lot of things that just like push me to make that for myself. So like, if I'm inspired by someone's outfit, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna like, let me see what I'm gonna step out in tomorrow. Like, let me get something cool. Like, let me give a cool look. And also, I think people that are really good at what they do really inspire me. Whether that's from the people that I work with here, or whether that's, for example, Rihanna. Honestly, she dropped her album 2 weeks ago, and a lot of people were mad at me because I didn't really like the album. But one thing I'll say is that I loved her on the album. Like, she's at a point to where she's grown so much as an artist. And even though I don't like every single song, like I love her because she sounds so swaggy, she sounds so confident, and she's really like at a place in her career where everything she does, it's dope, like it's good. And I think just like me seeing her, that makes me like, ooh, what can I do to my brand? Like, let me like post a picture that's awesome. Like, I'm not gonna post it this way, I'm gonna post it that way, because I wanna be dope. Like, I wanna be cool, I want it to look as cool as it can be. And I think just like people that are really on top of it and own their craft and master it, I think that definitely is an inspiration for me.
For me, I'm inspired, this may sound really cliche, but New York City. Whether I'm coming into work on the subway, taking a cab, like the people that you are surrounded by every day, hearing their stories, it just seems like what like Dovell said, what they're wearing, that inspires me. And honestly, things like what you just said, saying you like follow us on Instagram and you're inspired by it, like the DMs, the emails, the tweets, just saying that like, you know, we're an influence to them. And just to know that a guy like myself that came from North Carolina, Southern born and raised, can like actually inspire brands that people look at like Calvin Klein or GQ. So that's what inspires me and keeps me going.
Awesome, those are great answers. All right, next, Ty, this one is for you. What is the best piece of advice you've ever received? And what advice would you give to aspiring bloggers and entrepreneurs?
So, I am really, very, very untraditional. Like, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm really not. I was a teen mom. I'm 39. I'm not a degree, like I don't have a college education. So everything about things that exist inside of my industry is not what I represent. So the biggest piece of advice actually came in from my mother before she passed away, and which is mainly the reason why I'm here. And she was like, you should just start before you're ready. And I take that into consideration in anything that I do, because I think for so long we spend time preparing, and it's good to be prepared, but you can prepare yourself out of the opportunity. So for me, I tell anyone who wants to start a blog or who has a blog, just start before you're ready, keep going, and never stop. And that's been like my mantra throughout my entire, freelance career, because again, I'm not supposed to be here.
Well, that's great advice. I mean, I feel like a lot of what has held me back in the past, or I still kind of deal with, is just like, am I ready? Will I fail? And I feel like you're never ready for the big jumps or the big things that really will change your life. So.
Well, and you'll never be ready. And the other thing that the internet does really well at is like not showing us the bad part of the day. So many of us curate these perfect, and Instagram is great. I love it, but I try to at least once a week share that I'm depressed, I had a bad day, I missed a bus, whatever it is that made my week really effed up. Like, I need you to know that I'm still struggling no matter how many accolades and successes that you think I have, because I still have a story, and that's not taking away from, anything about your story, but at the end of the day, you have to recognize that your journey is not mine and vice versa. So.
That's it, that's great too, because I mean, you can definitely get caught up in the glorified aspect of social media, so I love to hear when people keep it real.
Yeah, and I think just touching on that also, one thing that I actually tweeted about it like 2 or 3 days ago on the bus going home. I was like, you really don't have to, like nowadays it's more about being good at something than having earned your spot the conventional way. Because like even just like us, like I think even just looking at what I do here, like I didn't study writing, I didn't study English in school, but I'm writing for like America's Biggest Retailer. It's like, if you're good at what you do and you fit that space, like it's not necessarily about like taking the right steps. It's really just about being good at what you do and owning that and stepping into it. And I think that's just something that we like to sort of message with everything that we do. Like just like Ty said, I mean, showing that lifestyle and showing that you're a normal person, it really resonates in a major way with people, because it's like, oh wow, like this like normal dude, like he rides the bus home, like he's like, and it's like I think people,
she missed the bus, it's like I
right, no, like honestly, like, and I think people get it twisted, like because like for us, like we post all these cool articles of clothing and we work with really cool brands, but it's like at the end of the day, like we're not stunting like that, like we're just normal people, like that just.
But I am stunting a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But no, I mean, I think just that sense of normalcy really does resonate with people in a strong way, and it gives them that connection that keeps them loyal.
Yeah, and honestly, like when it goes back to work with brands, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. When it goes back with working with brands, these brands want you because you are an influencer, but you still have this level of being a regular person. Of course, they can have a campaign with all the celebrities and athletes, but they bring you on so that you can resonate with people to let them know that, hey, he has a 9 to 5, or she's a freelancer who may have missed her bus, but she's still cool enough to be part of the brand. So it's about being true to yourself and letting everyone know that you're still a human being.
Yeah, definitely.
That's great, thank you. So this one's for everyone. You all have great styles, but how would you personally describe your style? And where do you go to stun on people?
My style is very moody. I would say in college, I had more of a distinctive style. I went to Morehouse College in Atlanta, so at the time, it was very preppy almost. But we still did our own thing, but I was more tailored. But it honestly depends on what I wake up to. So like this morning, I woke up listening to The Love Below by Outkast. So I channeled Andre 3000. So this is like my Andre 3000 meets Ken Carell. Some days I may wake up and I may be in a bad mood, so I may wear all black, like head to toe, or I may be in a great mood and I wear spring colors in the heat or the cold of the wintertime. It's just very moody, whatever I feel.
Yeah, and I guess I'm the exact same way. Like, even it was funny because the three of us, we were talking about it this morning. We were all like, Tyler was like, yeah, I thought I'm wearing a dress. Like, me and Kyle, we were like, oh yeah, we were gonna wear suits, but it's really just like when I woke up this morning, I was like, not feeling that. It's not gonna happen. And I think there's even like a running joke in our office that like sometimes I'll like come in the office in one thing and I'll like at 1 o'clock in the afternoon I'll be wearing something completely different and they're like, what did you come in? But it's like I think my style is very fluid. Like Kenneth, it's just what I'm feeling that day. Like I go from giving you Brooklyn grunge one day to giving you super minimalist, and then I'll look like a downtown fashion boy, and then I'll be wearing something sporty. Like it changes day by day. But that's a part of the fun of it. Like I think there's so many menswear bloggers that are just, oh, they're wearing a suit, they're wearing a sweater vest. Oh, this is so cool. Like another ties. Like I think we get to have a lot of fun with what we wear, and people appreciate it. So.
Well, I think me personally, I don't know if I should be saying this, but I don't know if I really have a style.
I was gonna say the same thing.
You know, because like, I like to dress well, don't get me wrong. Like, I have like a West Indian upbringing, so you can't sleep until a certain time of a day. Like, mama doesn't play, you sleep until 10 on a Saturday. And I have to go outside with my hairbrush, not a hair scarf on. Like, so that's how I was raised. I had to buy my own sneakers. Like, I wasn't even allowed to go to school on sneakers. So I feel like I've always been like put together, and because of my industry, people see me first sometimes before they see your clients. So you represent your brand. You are your own brand. So I realized from a young age that I had to dress a certain way, especially because just as you all said, like I don't have a college degree, I'm under 30 years old, and I started my own business working with these brands. My personal everyday style, I'm a bum. I'm not working in the office, I'm a bum. Like, I'm in sweats, my hair is to whatever side it's on, because any given day I might be bald to long to curly. I don't know. And when it comes to like, when I decide to dress, it really does depend on how I feel. And not even like I'm trying to give a look. Today I might be like I have this thing where I don't know how to be sexy. Like girls just do this pose and they're like, ooh, sexy. Like I don't know how to do that. Like I can dress sexy. I can dress what I think sexy looks like. Or I can dress what I think classy looks like. Throw on the fur that I got from the thrift shop, But I don't think I really have a personal style. It's like, do I have something to do today or do I not have something to do today? And what does that occasion call for? So that's my personal style.
Like a chameleon.
Exactly.
Right? I like that. What about you, Ty?
It's the same. There's probably 3 things that will happen all the time is that my hair will be done, my face will be beat, and I will have some type of jewelry on. Anything after that, I have no more time for.
You start from the top and start dancing out here.
But that's important though. It's important to know what works for you. Like for me, if you work in this building, you probably see me around because I always have a hat on. And I go to the barbershop every week, so it's not because I don't have a haircut, but if I did not have a haircut, you wouldn't be able to tell because I have a hat on. So it's like, make a trademark that works for you and own it.
That's great advice, too. All right, so this is for everyone once again. Glad you all have your own mics now. These back and forth. What has been your biggest roadblock throughout your journey, and what did you do to overcome it? It's a little heavy.
I think, See, when you guys sent us this question,
I
but see, you guys can't judge me, first of all,
Speak your
okay?
truth.
But
For yourself.
we can talk about like traditional robot blocks that everyone's gonna talk about. Like, yeah, you go through the thing where like, I have no money to start this business and like regular things like that. You know, like, oh, people said that I don't have a degree, I'm not gonna have this. But my parents taught me at a young age and that I don't have any friends. Like, it's like, you don't have any friends. You have family, and then you have things that are gonna help you, you know, be happy and fulfill yourself in life. And you'll have people that you come close to that are close enough to become like your family. So other than that, like whatever anyone else has to tell you does not matter. No one can tell you no. What you have to do when you hear no is figure out how to get a yes. And that's basically how I've lived my entire life. Like, I only had one job in my field before I started my company. And I literally started day one not knowing anything. Like, someone tagged me to the internship on social media, and I didn't even really know what experiential marketing was. And then, like, for the first 2 weeks, everything my boss asked me, I didn't know. I literally Googled everything. He had no idea I didn't know. And the funny thing about that is, with that position, because I didn't see it as a roadblock, I was supposed to be an intern working for free for 6 months. And 10 days into the internship, the CEO hired me to work directly with him. And that's when I learned, like, it's true what your parents said all this time. There is no no. It's just how far and how much are you willing to learn in order to get it.
I think, and to piggyback, I think for me, my biggest roadblock is myself, which is why I love doing panels like this, because I get to remind myself how great I am. I get to hear it. I get to hear myself talk about myself. And far too often do we not talk to ourselves and tell ourselves how great we are. So for me, it's definitely those times where I'm self-sabotaging an idea, or, you know, did I get enough likes on an Instagram? You know, all those silly things that we care about, you know, being bloggers and social media influencers, whatever. So for me, it's definitely myself and trying to like block all of those negative thoughts that I may have.
For me, I'm kind of experiencing it now, and I'm pretty sure that Jovel would say the same thing. But, you know, I came out of college, graduated 2012, and I wanted to move to New York City. So I did the internship, got the job here, and now that I'm here, I've been blessed with so many opportunities, and it is hard sometimes balancing what we do on the outside and a corporate job, you know, because you want to be able to be mentally here and perform to your best ability, but then again, you may have to run out on your lunch break to do a photo shoot or go to a casting, and at times it can be overwhelming, but, you know, like Todd said, you have to understand how great you are and what you're able to do and how much you're willing to sacrifice for it. So I'm kind of experiencing my roadblock now, but I know it's temporary. So
Yeah, I think in a similar respect, I think the 9-to-5 lifestyle in general, and just to give a disclaimer, like whether it was at Macy's, whether we worked for an accounting firm, whether we worked at Foot Locker next door, like literally, like the 9-to-5 lifestyle in and of itself is really a roadblock when you have, for example, Men's Fashion Week was at the start of the month, and I ran out on my lunch break to go to Robert Geller, and my boys, like the guys that I run with every week and like shoot with and like go to events with, they're like, oh yeah, so we're going here next, we're going to Niger, come on. And I'm like, so I'm gonna go ahead and go back to But like honestly, like something like that is really hard because it's like when you play in the NFL and like your team makes it to the Super Bowl and you have to sit on the bench, like you can't play in the Super Bowl. Like all the times, like things like that can really like hit you. But I think I really came to a point maybe like a year ago where I started looking at things differently, and I said like, there's no time for excuses. Like I love this, so you have to make it work. And so like every morning, like you can ask my team, like I have my tripod in my bag every morning. I shoot for 30 minutes before I come into the office. I don't have someone to shoot for me at that time, so obviously like my tripod, I went and bought a tripod. Like yeah, you know, like you make time for what's important to you, and I think once you just change your perspective, roadblocks aren't really roadblocks anymore. They're just like little pebbles that you can hop over if you just make it work, you know? And I think that's the biggest thing, whether it's like personal challenges like for yourself, or whether it's a 9-to-5 block of time that you have to work around, or like anything. I think it really just comes down to you just.
And at the end of the day, it's like I had this 9-to-5 because one, what I do, I'm in the fashion industry. it's a retailer. Like I work in the fashion office, so I'm able to do what I love and combine that with my 9 to 5. And at the end of the day, it's like I'm 26 years old next week, and I need money, you know? It's, I'm for real. Exactly. Like, especially living in New York City, we always are going to need money. And it's like, you know, we do the gigs and we do the photo shoots. And yes, that's like a means of income at times, but we still have high rent to pay. We still have a Metro card to pay for. So I need to be here.
And that's right. I think people think that, oh, you have like cool clothing and you like get to go here and there. It's like, we work as much as your mom and your dad do. Like, we work and then we do this outside. So it's like,
and half the stuff y'all see on Instagram has been just comp. Like,
yeah, like, yeah, no, like seriously, like that's why, like, if you look at my gram now, like I'll post things like 2 days in advance. Like, it's really like you make it a process. Yeah. And I think working on my team specifically has really taught me a lot of workarounds. Cause like we work like a week in advance. So like I started doing that in my own personal Instagram. Like I shoot 2 days in advance so I can get it up. Come to the office, it's already on my phone, I post, and it's good to go. So, you find
I just wanted to add something to his point, because I agree exactly what you said. I think we're all in agreement about the roadblocks, but I want everyone to kind of take note that every roadblock that you experience, remember the lesson that it taught you. Because you go through those roadblocks, but you go through them again and again and again and again, and they look different ways when they happen to you. So some might look like a speed bump and some might look like a detour, but they're all the same thing. So you can't just get over the roadblock and kind of be like, oh, I'm past that. Just always keep that in the back of your mind so that when you're in that position again, you know exactly what to do and play it smooth.
Yeah, and that's so like smart, because like honestly, like one of my favorite phrases like that I remind myself is like, you live, you learn, and then you live better. And it's not just about like facing something and then getting over it. It's really about like, okay, well I remember when I like did this, like now I know how I'm gonna do this. Like it's really just about like being smart actively as you go forward in this journey. And you make it work, you hustle.
Yeah, that's it. Once you know better, do better. Come on, financial. All right, so I want to start this one with Alicia, but I want to hear from everybody. You guys are all kind of in killing the social media game, but you're all in different lanes. But I want to know who you look up to in the industry, whether it's fashion industry, social media, just who's that you see and you're like, yes, I gotta get there.
This is always so hard. Okay, so they had something, I don't know if you guys all saw this, but they had something on social media like when the new year started, like this is a table. If you could have 7 seats at the table, who would it be? And I feel like everyone had the same thing that was following me, like Karen Civil, this person, that one. I'm like, I would want the thought leaders, because my whole thing is to like create impact. I work in like, I guess what you say is a really cool industry, but like I said, I'm very conscious. And I want everything that I'm giving exposure to be able to give back to people that don't have it. So like I think I would want to be there with Oprah. Like Oprah inspires me. Mark Zuckerberg inspires me. Sophia Amoruso, I believe, girl boss, owner of Nasty Gal. She inspires me. I'm inspired by people who have roadblocks. Like I'm inspired by grief and pain because at least I know there's a need there that you can whatever you do, it's going to be a positive effect. So that's what inspires me.
That, and in addition to, I'm always inspired by my peers. Far too often, I'm the only Black woman at the table. Like, not only am I the only woman, I'm the only Black woman. And in 2016, I just feel like it's unacceptable. So when I see other Black women in my position doing great things, I always applaud them and I'm always inspired because there's just not many of us in those positions.
For me, in terms of someone that you all are familiar with, Terrence J. I'm inspired by him because of his story. He started out at BT, and I don't know if a lot of people know about his audition process, but he auditioned in New York City, didn't get it, and then he drove all the way to Atlanta, and he only got the position because he had the same name tag on, or he got he got the audition because he went and had the same name tag on from the previous day, so they allowed him to do it because of his perseverance. But other than Terrence J, I would say my peers. like tonight, I'm going to go see one of my friends in a play. It's one of his, I think his second play that he's doing since he started acting. And just being around my friends every day, like Jovel, my friend Lee, like we have talks like at dinner or just in our apartments, so just about like how we want to change the world and things that we're doing now, things that we're all experiencing, and just hearing that their struggle is my struggle and vice versa is very inspiring. So yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, going back to what I said earlier about like what inspires my creativity, I think I'm really inspired by people that I see doing exactly what I want to do and doing it well. So like for example, I'm actually blessed to have like, you know Ryan, like one of my best friends, Ryan Clark. So he has 3 social media platforms: High Fashion Men, High Fashion Living, and his personal account. And between the 3, he has like 2 million followers. And he just reached out to me one day and invited me to a networking event. And from that day, that was about a year and a half ago, we've become like the best of friends. Like we've gone to Europe together, we go to fashion shows together, and he's really like a mentor to me. Actually, last summer, we had just gotten to Milan, and before we even unpacked anything, he was like, so I want to talk to you about your Instagram. There are some things that you're like doing that you need to stop. And honestly, he got me together. Like we talked for about an hour. He like pulled out my account. He like showed me, this needs to stop. Who is this girl? Like, why is she in your photo? Like, he really like changed my life. And just to put it in perspective, so at that point I think I had Instagram for about 3 years. No, maybe 4 years, and I got to 9,000 followers. The 4 months after he had that talk with me, I gained 4,000 followers. So it's like, it just shows the type of influence that some people can really have on you. And he's just been an amazing mentor for me. And like, we're actually going on a trip to Curacao next week, or at the beginning of next month. And it's like, having someone who pays it forward and like, helped other people get to the point that he's at, like, I appreciate that. And I think other people like Adam Gallagher, and Marcel Flores, like they're like 2 of the top men's guys. I think just like seeing people doing exactly what I want to do and doing it extremely well is just so inspiring, and it just keeps me pushing and working. You know?
And I definitely agree with you. Your friends should inspire you.
Yeah.
If your friends don't inspire you, it doesn't have to do with work. If your friends don't inspire you to love, whether it's just life, if they suck your energy, you need a new circle. Because your friends should be able to inspire you. Your friends should be able to
Someone needs to cut some friends out.
I have people I had to cut off because I realized like the people that they like to hang around are all dumber than them. Not to say I'm offensive, but it's like they feel like they're the smartest person in the room. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want you to be talking to me and I'm Googling under the table like, yeah.
But literally,
yeah, and that happened to me too. Like, that's what I want to be, because steel sharpens steel.
Yeah.
And I want to be steel. I want to be like a diamond. So I only want and can be inspired by people that are trying to help and uplift me. And that doesn't mean financial anything, but mentally it's just so much.
Yeah, and I've learned that, I've learned that it's very important to have people around you who say other things than yes. Like, I don't want all my friends and family saying, yes, you did that, yes. Like, no. Let me know. Right. Let me know when I do something that could have been done better, because like coming from a friend who I really support and that supports me and I love, I'm gonna hold that value. So have people around you who are blunt, who are honest, and that want to see the best for you at all times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that was great. That was a word in the back too.
Some people reflected back
Yes. Moment. All right. So as we all know, the blogging world is super saturated now. I mean, it's all about the internet, all about social media, all about getting your stuff out there, getting your brand out there. So since everyone up here has been extremely successful with that, how do you feel about the state of blogging, and what do you do personally and for your brand to stand out above the crowd?
To be honest with you, the blogging world is extremely saturated. I say it almost every day. But I think a true blogger or someone, when you're blogging, create the platform. Like I said, don't be afraid to create it. However, have goals that exceed further than that blog. Whether you want to become a model, whether you want to become a creative director for a company, do things outside that blog or use that blog as a platform to show people that you're able to do that. Like personally for myself, I've been blogging since 2011, and it's opened up so many doors for fashion, but now I really have an interest in entertainment and hosting. So that's what I'm doing now. And I'm using the platform that we've created to let people know that, hey, I am into fashion, I do appreciate style, but there's another layer of me that I can also bring to the table. So just have a mindset that understand that it's more than vlogging, and someone that you meet on the train can possibly do the same thing that you can do, but how can you do it just a tad bit better and be different from everyone else?
Yeah, I think touching on Ken's point, I think it definitely is really important to think of it as a business. Like, that's one of the things Ryan told me is when we had that chat, he was like, yeah, your Instagram is a business, so you need to really start thinking about it like that. And Ken he's had times when he like will laugh at me because I'll literally take 30 minutes to edit an Instagram photo. Because it really is like, it's your work. It speaks to everything that you do in this world. And so I don't mind spending 30 minutes on one Instagram post that, you know, people aren't gonna think about tomorrow. But it's like when they think about it, they're gonna be like, oh, there he goes again. Like, he gets it. Like, and honestly, I mean, it really does speak millions, because I may not have as many followers as Ryan or as some of the other guys that I named, but people respect me enough to associate me with them, and they tell me that all the time. So it's like, it really does increase your value to just invest in that. Whether it's actually blogging or whether it's just like having your own hustle, like what you're doing is a business. So if you do have something going on outside, you need to be incorporating that into the brand and speaking to it too. And I think also, as far as like what helps us to stand out, I think it really just comes down to us like talking about different things. Like, a lot of other menswear bloggers, they talk about menswear. And a lot of those menswear bloggers, they post, like I said earlier, they post suits and sweater vests and the same thing. But like, if you look at what Kyrella's wearing, if you look at what I'm wearing right now, like, a lot of guys don't dress like we do. And it really is a strong point of differentiation for us. So I think it's just a matter of owning yourself and your creativity, but also I think to really be relevant right now, you have to just keep thinking further. You have to really like think about ways to stand out. Like right now, Instagram is popping, it's big, but 2 years ago Twitter was, you know, and half of my friends don't even look at Twitter anymore. And it's really just about like thinking about the next thing. Like, I think we both sort of started incorporating video into our content a little bit more because Snapchat is here. That's a sign, and it's taking about to be huge next. You know, like it's already big, but you know, it's like you just have to start thinking like a businessman, and it really does differentiate you, or a businesswoman, and it really does differentiate you though from the people. Like I said just before, I was just floating in space. Ryan was like, you have to start thinking of thinking of it as a business, and things change completely. You know, so it's like that's how, even with this huge influx of new bloggers, that's how you stay above it, and you really like stand out.
So, a few things. I'm going to totally disagree with everything you had to say.
Totally.
I don't believe the blogging world is saturated. I believe that by numbers, it appears that way because everyone has a blog, but there are a handful of bloggers who are doing it full time, who are making money, who are able to pay their rent, their bills, buy Louis Vuitton, whatever else they need in their closet. So no, the industry is not saturated, in my opinion. I will agree with you and say that when it comes to blogging, you have to have a niche. Something has to click to people. Like for me, I have gray hair, it's my naturally gray hair. None of you in this room will ever forget that you met me. And if you see me out in the street, you'll say, hey, you're that girl that did something that day at my job with the natural hair. So whatever it is that makes you, you have to figure out what that is, and that's your into this blogging world, if you will, whatever you want to call it.
I just wanted to add something to that, because I'm not a blogger, but marketing and PR people, we basically get, so I have brand clients and celebrity clients. And you see when these brands like Nike, Mix Moscato, Beats by Dre, any of these people are doing commercials and using certain people, they didn't just one day wake up and say, LeBron is amazing, let me sign him. They have a marketing team that tells them who in the market has their hands on that native market, who is going to reach out and do the guerrilla marketing. So that marketing team then presents them with a deck or proposal of different influencers. We'll have your picture, we'll have your statistics, we'll have how much engagement that you have and why you're worth it for the brand to spend that money. So when it comes to me, when I pick bloggers or people who are big on social media to utilize for my programs, it's not only about you having great content and clean content. It's how can I roll you out in different ways? What other brands are you already affiliated with? does your website get as much traction that I can utilize you as a media partner? Because then that also increases the dollars that I might offer to you or what incentives you might get as a brand. I think another thing that's very important, because my sister works in fashion and she just started a site, and I am constantly on her because I do believe that everything, even if you don't have a blog, even if you're just a sales associate, you should look at yourself as a brand. I started out as a sales associate at Nordstrom and ended up being the store manager at 20 years old from looking at myself as a brand. And I think that when you look at yourself as a brand and you realize what you want to put yourself next to, you start to stay consistent with certain themes. If you're doing a website or a blog that's based about, say, limitless attire, you're saying that you want people's outfit choices to be limitless, then every post or something's theme, like you should have a theme that echoes that this is affordable wear, or this is how you can wear this many times. You have to have things that resonate and tie back to you. Because if it's not authentic, it's never going to last. You'll never roll that blog into a boutique or becoming a stylist or becoming a host. You have to remain authentic to what it started as and then let it grow and flourish.
Yeah, and I think Alicia's point is like so important and really just showing, and Ty's point, I think it's really, the business aspect is really what does distinguish it. Like there are two levels. So I think to expand on what Ty was saying, like I definitely agree with what you said too. Like there are people who are literally bloggers, like they have a blog. But then there are influencers. Like what's an influence without an influence? These bloggers down here.
Yeah.
And not to be rude, but it's like literally. You know, it's like, no, it's literally, I mean, because it's like, you're not thinking on that level to really be influencing yet. So it really does take a shift in your mind, and you really have to think of it as a business. You have to think of it, that's why there's such an entrepreneurial spirit in the world of blogging and social influencing, because you really are a business.
And I think that it's more than being a business, you have to have an opinion. Anyone can create a blog. You have Tumblr, you have, Instagram is a microblog. You have Twitter, you can even upload media now. So whatever platform you decide to use, you have to have an opinion. You're not gonna like every collection. You're not gonna like every dress that you see or every brand of makeup, but let that be known, because your followers that come to you for that piece of advice or that opinion is gonna cherish it even more because you're honest with them.
Right, because they drugged me when I talked about Rihanna's outfit.
And that's fine. You're not gonna like
They were
everything.
so mad. No, but yeah, but it's like, but that transparency is true. Like,
And it causes conversation.
yeah, which is even why I tweeted that, because I even tweeted out, I was like, wow, I'm surprised no one's disagreeing with me. And then as soon as I said that,
They came out.
but yeah, it's really just about like being you and really owning what you are and who you are and what you believe in, pushing that message out there.
Nice, stay true to yourself, y'all. Okay, so now we have about like 15 minutes left. So we want to open it up to you guys. I mean, I've been talking a lot, asking questions, so are there any questions?
Don't be
Don't be
scared.
shy.
Oh,
Wait, can you wait for the mic so everybody can hear you?
Hi there, Jody from home. Hi there. Okay, so I just wanted to, can you expand on what you were saying? Your friend told you you shouldn't be doing this and you should do more of that. I want to hear more of the logistics. Like if I'm getting ready to post an Instagram picture, what should I not be doing?
Secrets.
And what should I
Let me
post?
pull up,
give me the recipe.
let me pull up the gram. Okay. So like, and literally, you guys, when I tell you, like, we had just walked into the hotel room. It was me, him, and our videographer, and we didn't even put anything down. Like, he was like, yeah, so can we have that chat now? And so he just let me have it. Like, just as far as, so I'm just looking through my content right now, and I think it really, I think one, aesthetic-wise, so I used to take pictures on my phone. He said, you gotta stop that now. Like, you have a camera, use it. Edit it and put it up. All the top guys, they do that. Like, it's about quality, and that really just shows such a big thing. Like, I know, like, even my boss is looking at me like, I'm like, but no, I just think back to conversations that we've actually had with Instagram, like with their creative strategists, and they say that that organic feel of images does help, but I think I disagree with that from the first time that I heard that, just because you can still have an organic feel, but have a high quality. And I think that that was one thing that he tried to push to me, was that even though, like, you can take it from your perspective, you can make it a first person perspective, you can make it a style shot, but it needs to look good. There shouldn't be any low resolution. So that's one thing. Like, I mean, own your content, like own your quality. So for example, if you do take something on your phone, get ViscoCam. ViscoCam is an app that is super easy. It will make, like if I take a picture of y'all and I use ViscoCam, y'all will look like I have like the most expensive camera. Like it's like a better way to filter your Instagram photos, and it just makes it perfect. So I think visually that's a really important thing, but also content-wise. So I think for us, for me and Kenneth, like our platforms are about more than menswear. So we post things related to music, we post things related to art, related to film, entrepreneurship, and creativity. So if we're at an event, I'm not going to post an event. I'm not going to post an event photo right there because I can't edit it while I'm there. You know, like I have to wait. So I'm going to be creative about the way that I spin it. But it's just always thinking about how you're putting everything out there. So if I'm taking a picture, if I want to talk about a song, if I want to talk about Rihanna's album, I may take a picture of the album on my phone, and I'm going to put some other things around it real nice and cool, and then I'm going to shoot it as a flat lay. But it still speaks to what it needs to speak to, but it maintains my aesthetic. It maintains like what I'm about and what visually I'd like to push out. And I think just owning that and taking just like a proactive approach to what you're putting out there, and just making sure that this doesn't look like there have been times when I've shot for like an hour, and then I look at all the photos and I'm like, oh damn, that was a waste of time. I'm not gonna post any of these because if it doesn't fit, it doesn't fit. And I think you just have to be smart and strategic about what you're about and just make sure that everything lines up with that.
However, there is one piece that he said that I disagree with in terms of taking it on an actual camera.
Yeah, because I actually do use my phone now too, just FYI.
Yeah, like honestly,
I use Visco.
There's cameras like this thing right here, like is amazing. And it's all about, like you said, the filters and the apps that you choose to use. And there's some events that you don't want to pull out a big DSLR camera and hold up and take a photo. Like you want to use this, but it goes back to how you edit it. And don't look at everyone's Instagram saying, okay, I want to look like the next Brian Boyd or a big blogger out there. Find what works for you, what you like, and be consistent with that. Because Jovel's aesthetic isn't my aesthetic and vice versa. However, what works for me, and it's been successful. And you can say the same. So do what works for you, but always have that editorial mindset.
Yeah. Were there specific like aspects of posting that you want to know about, or?
Well, I actually have two more questions. I just wanted to find out. So sorry. I wanted to see how often do you post? And then some people say you should take a certain look. Like some people do all white background, some people do darker. Do you think that you should pick one and stay in that lane always, or can you kind of mix it up?
I was going to add that I think it is important if you have a theme, whether it be aesthetic-wise or content. Like for me, like you guys, I use my iPhone, I have a Sony A5100, and then I have a DSLR. But for me, I do beauty and lifestyle, so everything on my Instagram is things that are about me or things I like. So when you come to my page, you know you're going to get a face shot, where I'm going, things like that. So I think it's important to have a theme and or it to look like some people are doing now, the like a picture or a quote, a picture or quote, so then it kind of, like when you go to their page, it just, you know, stands out to you because it has like a theme overall.
Yeah, and I think, well, the first question, I try to post at least, on a good day I'll post 3 photos. I'll post one in the morning, I'll post one in the, either late, well, I guess early evening, and then one later at night. Just based on, I think you do have to keep in mind like when your audience reacts to you. That's important. So like, Kenneth's audience might be up in the morning, they might be moving, and they might give them like great engagement, but mine, if it's after 10, they might not be checking for me. So it's just about like knowing you and your audience. But on a good day, 2 to 3. And I think, remind me the second one? What was the second one?
Having a theme or...
The aesthetic, right? Yeah, I'm very good on aesthetics. And I think that, I think the best run that I've had in the past few days was like, I had this neutral moment going where everything was either like black or brown or like tan. And I think it makes an account look great. Like, I don't like having things that are too busy. I don't like having things...
I'll delete stuff.
Oh, for sure. I've started doing that too.
Especially because sometimes I get paid to post on Instagram and the pictures, maybe I didn't want that laundry, but Tide paid me, so I put it up. So I let it last for a few weeks and then delete it. Like, I think the new thing with Instagram is going back and deleting your photos. Like, I can have like, yeah, well, I've been doing that popular. Like, it's advised of influencers now to go back and delete some of your photos, so when a person comes to your page, they can actually see the whole scope without like scrolling back, and it's like 5 years later and you're still scrolling your pictures. So
Keep in mind that the first 9 photos, like when someone goes to the page, is very important. That grid is like 369. You want to make sure that that is a good representation of who you are as a brand, because that's the first thing, or the first 9 photos that they're going to be able to see at a glance.
And just to be a little bit more specific to your question, as they said, you definitely want to know your audience post times. Everyone's is kind of different, but for the most part, we see, especially on this coast, that peak post times is like between 8 and 10 a.m. My people, they're up from like 7:30. So I can post straight out the gym and get like a good amount of likes. But usually for me, what I've seen, especially with myself, my business, my clients, would be like 8 to 10 a.m., maybe around 10 to 3 again for an afternoon, or you want to do 8 to 10 p.m. at night. The nighttime is usually when you get a lot of traction because people are at home.
Yeah,
and then as far as like backgrounds and themes, me personally, I always do like a white crop. So whatever my stuff is centered, I think that's what you were trying to figure out. I always do the white background because I think it looks super clean. I feel like whatever that you want to shoot, always make sure it's focused. Like I'm the one, like I said, since I'm a publicist, like I notice the strand of hair that's like here, or like the piece of trash that's in the corner by the garbage that you're standing in front of. Or I'll be like, no, wrong light. You got to stand facing the light, light. Okay. So you also want to be cognizant not of only of what you're shooting, but what's in the background, and make sure that there's nothing that distracts people, even if it's not mess. Maybe it's just something that just doesn't belong there.
There's also a site, it's a site called Ocano Square. It's like icon O Square, and that will actually tell you exactly when your followers are liking and all that stuff. So you can do a
But it's not free
comparison.
anymore, sorry.
It's not free anymore, but it's also worth the $25. I paid for it.
It is really good. They have great analytics.
We have another question right there.
Hi, I'm Adrienne from Special Events Marketing.
How you doing?
I mean, I was increase your following on social media. Do you have any advice?
For me, it was about being transparent. I noticed that the more I shared my personal things, whether I liked or didn't like, my mother passed away 3 years ago. And the minute that I shared that story, I started documenting her chemotherapy, her radiation. The minute that I shared that story, it kind of gave me the bravery to share more stories, and I got so many more followers. I became a person. I wasn't just this, blogger that's behind the screen and, so unattainable. For my followers, I became relatable. I was, that digital BFF, if you will.
Yeah, and that's so important too, because honestly, like the quality is so important, and staying true to what your brand is about, but also that personal connection. Like people want to be a part of like they want to feel like y'all are friends. Like,
but that's why you spend so much time on your caption.
Huh?
That's why you spend so much time on your captions, because those captions are telling to the picture, and they give that picture a story. It's no longer just you posting.
Yeah, and people like appreciate it. It's just like, yeah, you're talking to me. Like I feel like you're talking to me. I feel like I know you. Like you're my friend. You're my buddy. And they'll come back and they'll see what else you're checking for. Like they'll check for you. They'll see what else you're talking about. And take care.
Yeah, and especially when it comes into, because I know we haven't really spoken about it, but I'm like, excuse my language, a Snapchat whore. Like, Snapchat came around and I'm like, wait, I didn't post on Instagram in a week. Hold on, let me see if I took any pictures to post on Instagram. But Snapchat, like everyone just sees like a polished version of myself on Instagram, and like Snapchat is like my dirty little secret. So like, I share when I'm late to a meeting, I share when the client's late, I might not say who, you might not even see where I'm at that night, keep things separated. But like I had a meeting right before this and I was running late and I was Snapchatting with Sade. I'm like, this is Sade, she gonna walk us in and they about to start without me with 2 in the Periscope. I was over here like with my camera like, bye. I feel like people love that. And at first I thought when I started Snapchat that I was talking to myself. Because the first story I shared on Snapchat that was like a long story, usually I just take like selfies when I do my makeup. But the first story I shared is I took a client to an event in LA, and it was my first time, like, you kind of get the stigma, people stereotype you, but it was my first time with someone being like overtly racist to me, which is like really crazy. Like it was so bad that myself and my client left the event because of how I was treated. And I shared that with my Snapchat followers, and kind of like Ty said, that's when the floodgates opened. I get people asking me all types of questions. Like I'm not a makeup artist. I share with them that I'm a bum half the time and I beat my face. I share with them when I spent $500 on makeup and I don't know how to use it. And then I share with them how I tried to put it on. And now people actually ask me, can you do this makeup tutorial? Your skin looks so good in the morning. What do you use? Because I share that with them. I don't know what I'm doing half the time, but I'm doing it, you know? So definitely be vulnerable with your followers, not too much, because you got to keep certain things personal. Like, we don't want to see you in your bedroom with your underwear unless it's like a Transformation Tuesday, like, oh girl, you know, that is too much. But I think that that's something that really attracts followers, and also when people don't feel like you're trying to sell them on things.
Yes.
Like when you keep certain things that people wouldn't know exclusive. Like a lot of times I try to show people things that they would never see, whether it's with things that I'm working with on TV or anything, just behind the scenes. And they love it. So if you can find certain content that's exclusive, even if it's just something you're sharing, like this lipstick is freaking amazing and you don't have to reapply it. People feel like they're getting the edge.
And that's the thing that's important. I'm glad you brought that up because there's been so many brands that have reached out to me or me and Joe both, and they wanted to promote something online, but they would send me the specific copy. They would say, you know, you can't stand beside this person, you gotta stand on this kind of background. And it was something to me that would come off as being just not organic. So therefore I didn't do it. And I think it's something about Snapchat where it's so in the raw and it's in the moment. It's like, you know, you can apply those little filters, but you can't, if you have a zit on your face, you have a zit on your face, and that's real. And you know, it's like every morning I wake up, and whether I'm going to the gym at 6:30 in the morning, or I'm running in, like you said, late to a meeting that I have at 9 o'clock, or you know, I'm running to a casting during lunch and then coming back to a corporate setting, like people find that inspiring. And honestly, the feedback and the engagement that I've received on Snapchat within the past 2 to 3 months has been higher than Instagram. So,
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. I think we have time for one more question. Sorry, Jabel. Here. Cutting it close, mommy.
That's perfectly fine. Once again to the panel, thank you for participating in the discussion today. It is actually pretty cool to see all of you here sharing your experiences as far as that is concerned with blogging, with the internet, and you know where to take that and where to evolve. Speaking about evolving, and this is a question specifically for Kenneth and Jobel, since you guys actually work here at Macy's while you do your side gigs, how has your point of view, your perception, and your outlook have changed in regards to your future here at Macy's? How has it changed? How has it evolved with the experience that you have with nonames.com?
sure.
I can if you want to think about it.
I got it. That is a big question. Working here on the corporate side has opened my eyes to, or makes me think about the questions that a brand that I'm working with, because the no names may ask me, so I know how to present myself. Like I said, I work in the fashion office, and there's numerous times where I'm creating the decks, and we're looking at influencers, or we're looking at top bloggers, and you know, my boss is like, okay, why did you put them on this sheet? And I'm saying, because they have this amount of engagement, they're at this event, they work with this brand already. So that has changed my mind of how brands look at me from the outside looking in. But in terms of long term, you know, I want to work for myself eventually. I want to work in other areas besides retail and fashion. However, I do appreciate and understand the importance of me being here right now and the skills that I've learned thus far.
Yeah, I think for me, I think blogging in general has really opened my eyes to a lot of opportunity, just in general. Like for us to be able to do what we do outside of work, and like we're ultimately creative directors of our platform, and I mean that's something that I think at one point we both talked about wanting to be. Like we talked about having our own social like strategy firm, like which is something I actually still want to do. And I think working on my team, again, I work on the social media creative team here, and I think it's the perfect, I guess, like prep for that. Like, because I mean, honestly, like I remember when I first started, I actually used to get to sit in on meetings with Elaine, which is our creative director, and it was just the most inspiring experience. Like it was a little scary, but it was like every single time it's like, oh my God, I'm sitting here with this woman who like does exactly what I want to do. It's like, it's so cool, and I think it just makes it realistic. It makes it seem like an attainable goal, and knowing that, not to toot my own horn, but knowing that I'm actually good at what I do, like, and that I can do it, it just makes it, it's empowering, you know, it's really just like, wow, you know, like, this is doable, like, I can do this, and I'm gonna do this, like, I'm excited about it, And I think even here, like I think one thing that I definitely am able to do that a lot of the other guys outside of, obviously not, well, I guess you're not either, but like me specifically, like being able to actually go to Instagram's headquarters and learning from them like one-on-one. Like it doesn't just help me at Macy's, it helps me in general with what I want to do. So it's really good at just expanding my scope and really allowing me to take advantage of all the opportunities that I'm building myself up towards. So it's exciting.
All right, well, thank you guys. Can you give our panelists a round of applause? I'm going to pass the mic off to our